Welcome to Not Your Average Cinema. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and we are recapping the mid-year point of movie watching. We're going to talk a little bit about the movies we have seen so far this year, what we think are kind of some of the most disappointing, most surprising, and then also the worst and the best so far this year. No particular order. We're just going to kind of go through the movies first that we saw, then we'll go through each list, kind of doing the same thing, going back through the movies. So if you want to skip ahead, if you want to see something specific, you can do that. Otherwise, you can at least see what movies we all saw, and then we have a few of them that we missed that we'll go over at the end of the 6 months here. So we will start in January, which I feel like kind of January, February time are typically thought of as kind of maybe the slower months, but we did see
Yeah.
three between the two of us. We didn't both see all of these movies, but we saw Flight Risk, Companion, and Dogman. I believe we both saw all these.
We both
Maybe not
saw,
in January, but we
not in
both saw them.
January. We both saw Flight Risk right away, and I caught up on Companion and Dogman once they were on streaming. So we have a review of Flight Risk. I think the first video we ever did. Um, Weird one to start off a channel. But yeah, if you want us to review, since we have both seen Companion and Dogman, and that's the same for any of these movies that we have both seen, if you want us to review them, if we don't have it already, comment below.
Yes.
But yeah, so three movies in January. And I think it's pretty much double that for all of the other months. Moving into February, we got The Gorge, Last Breath, the fourth Captain America film, Brave New World, Heart Eyes, Love Hurts, and The Monkey. A lot of monsters and violence for the Valentine's Day month.
Yes, we were. I don't know. I like rom-coms, but it feels like right now rom-coms are dead, are kind of
It
a dead
does.
genre.
It
And
does.
so, yeah, they got to go to violence with the love movies.
Yes, exactly. And then we went into March, saw another six. I'm like, it's convenient because it fits on the screen here, so I'm happy with it. Every month I just kept going. I'm like, six again and again and again. Awesome. But this one was Novocaine. I guess I should mention I have not seen any of the bottom three of these. I have not seen Hard Eyes, The Monkey, or Love Hurts. In this one, Novocaine and Mickey 17, we have both seen. Death of a Unicorn, Working Man, and Black Bag, only you have seen, and only I have seen Locked. Of those bunch there. So I got one you haven't seen for once.
I'm surprised. I would have thought you'd be. I think in new movies in general, new to us, you're definitely winning that front this year.
Mhm.
But 2025 movies, we'll see. I
Yeah.
might be winning.
Definitely the first half of the year. I feel like I started picking it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see in April. We've got Minecraft movie, Sinners, and The Accountant 2, which we both saw. And then I have seen The Amateur and Warfare, and you have seen Until Dawn. So, a bit mixed there. Bit good mix there.
I think all the ones that I've seen though were in theaters, right? And you've
Yes.
seen a lot of them or a few of them on streaming at least.
Yes. Yes. And then in May, down to five films: Thunderbolts, Final Destination, Bloodlines, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Friendship, and Fountain of Youth. We have each seen all of these movies, all five of them. And then June, the last month here, this month in which we're filming, actually not anymore, we have Ballerina, F1, 28 years later, Predator, Killer of Killers. We have all seen those four, both of us. And then I have seen K-pop, Demon Hunters, and you have seen How to Train Your Dragon. It's kind of weird how we just both went off and watched children's movies by ourselves.
That's true. That's true. Even though I guess I watched Dogman by myself originally at the
That's
well,
true.
I was with Michaela, so we saw it. But yeah, it's kind of strange ones. I did see that pop up, and I was somewhat interested in it. I just hadn't had the chance to watch that one yet. I feel like that one was like just released,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
pretty recently on
yes.
Netflix.
Yes, I believe so.
K-pop Demon Monsters or Demon Hunters. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, and then
Um,
there's a few that we've missed that we maybe would like to get back to. And that's Megan 2, Lilo and Stitch. I don't know if we'll actually watch it. You've seen the original, right?
When I was really young, I think.
And
Yeah.
then Drop, Karate Kid Legends, Dangerous Animals, and Fight or Flight.
Yeah, I plan on seeing Megan in this next week, hopefully, and um, Drop. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to see at some point, as well as Dangerous Animals and Fight or Flight. But I've heard a lot of bad stuff, meh stuff about Karate Kid, and I just don't know if I'm as interested in Lilo and Stitch. So those two, I'm not sure if I'll get to, but I got some interest.
Yeah, I think for Karate Kid Legends, I'm hopeful on the fact that like I have not really seen any of the Karate Kid movies, so maybe the disappointment is in people that have watched them all. But maybe it's just because I think there's been a little bit of mixed stuff on that.
Yeah.
But
Then it's
yeah,
like, oh,
otherwise
shit, if
I'm
I'm gonna
interested.
watch it, should I just go watch the original? Yeah.
True,
But yeah, you were
but
saying, go back. Let's go back to the start. Run
go
it
back,
back.
run it back, Jace. So what did you want to start with, Pepper? Surprises or disappointments?
Let's go with surprises. Because I see for myself, I see a couple surprises in January.
Wow, a
I have
couple.
I have a couple surprises for Flight Risk and Dogman. Um, I I've grown to like animated films, for sure. So in the past couple years, there have been some really good ones. You are like all in when there's an animated film. But Dogman, I'm like, that just seems like even extra childish. But I had a really good time with it, so that one definitely surprised me at how much I did like it. And Flight Risk, or I guess what? Were you going to say something about Dogman? In the
I do
hole.
have Dogman in my surprises as
Ooh.
well. And I was the one after watching this telling you, you gotta watch this, Pepper. You gotta watch it. So I thought I might have overhyped it and ruined it for you possibly because there's just something about it that I really loved. And it was originally on my best, but I made my own personal rule. I told Pepper he does not have to go by this rule that I made. I had it so each of my lists can't include the same one. So otherwise, it could have been in my running for best so far this year. So it is at that level, but it was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
But I was not, I guess, surprised by either of the others.
Yeah.
Unlike you,
I
apparently.
was surprised by Flight Risk because when I saw the first trailer, I'm like, ah, that seems like something that I'd probably see. I think Ma would really like it. Just seems like that kind of story that she might want to see in theaters. So we did see it, and but I thought it looked like it was going to be a terrible, terrible movie, and a lot of people say it is. But I got a Topher Grace character in here that I really enjoyed, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy any characters going into this. So the expectations are what made this one. I thought it was going to be terrible. I had an adequately fun time with it, so it surprised me.
Yeah. I did not have any other surprises in
Nice,
January.
nice. And then on to February. Do you have any surprises in this month?
I did not have any surprises in February, did you?
I did not. I did not have any surprises.
There was nothing surprising about February. Not
Yeah.
one thing.
What you see is what you get.
You look at these covers and you know what you're about to get.
You know. And then in March, ooh, did we have surprises here? I have one surprise for myself.
I did not. I was not surprised in March either.
Okay, I was surprised with Locked, which is probably you're like, oh, never mind, that's a cop out. I don't even know what that is. Um,
Cop out!
Cop out. So this is the guy who's trying to rob a car. Turns out it's a trap. Anthony Hopkins set us up this car to trap a criminal and kind of interrogate him, do different things like that. And I'm like, this movie just came out of nowhere. We rented it on the TV, and for coming out of nowhere, I thought they did a really good job with the concept, and it's just a really solid movie. That I just, like I said, I had nothing, no information about going into it, so definitely a surprise.
I guess I will put Black Bag because I was not like all that interested in going. Michaela wanted to see this one. It was her birthday month, so I was like, okay, I'll go to it. And it was better than I expected. It wasn't. I guess I don't know what I was expecting it to be, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was a little surprising because I did like. I think you would like it actually, probably more than I do. So I don't know if you've had any interest in seeing it, but
Oh
uh,
yeah, for sure.
don't let my thoughts like not like just shouting at you to go watch it like I did for Dogman. Don't make that mean or don't think that means don't go check it out because I think you might actually like it even more than I did.
Oh
So
yeah, I think I would. I think I would. So I am looking forward to trying that one. And on to April. Do we have any surprises in April? I have one surprise.
I was double surprised in
Double
April.
surprise.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'll start with the one that you have not seen. And that is Until Dawn. I was I wasn't sure what to think of this movie, and then I heard it was like based on this video game, or I yeah, briefly heard some people talking about that or whatever, and I think as it came out, people were kind of disappointed that it didn't really follow that. But I'm like, well, I've got no history with this game, so I don't really care. And I find kind of some of these loop feeling things
Yeah.
stories interesting sometimes. I know some people are probably sick of that. I thought this did a pretty good job at it. There are some things I wish it hadn't skipped out on. I feel like it could have maybe been even a little bit longer to show some extra things, but
Yeah.
it 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 surprised me because it ended up being pretty solid. I think it's not quite at the level of Cabin in the Woods, where it's kind of one of those now like cult classic
Oh yeah.
kind of films like that. It's not quite there, but it kind of scratches that same itch, I think. I
Hmm.
suppose if you've played the game and you really love that story, I don't know enough about it to say how close or how far it is away, but it sounds like people that really love the game don't love the story here. So I would say then it probably wouldn't be for you, but
Yeah.
if you have no connection to the game, I think this one's worth checking out, especially when it comes out. I don't know when it's going to be streaming or where or whatnot, but
Yeah. I think if it's streaming for free on one of our services, I think I'll definitely check it out because of what you've said. I have watched some gameplay of the game, but I'm not attached to it really. So I definitely, and I think the amateur over there, Rami Malek, I think he's a character in the video game. It's modeled after his face, so he's a little crossover that I just noticed there. But yeah, I'll have to check that one out for sure. And I think we're probably crossing over with the other surprise here, a movie that maybe we assumed could definitely be the worst movie of the entire year, and that is a Minecraft movie. This one, I won't. I mean, on one hand, I'm not surprised because it's almost exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I just am surprised by how much I actually enjoyed what that is. I think that's the main thing here. I think it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun, and sure, it's stupid, and it's a lot of memes, and maybe you won't get as much out of it if you don't play the video game, or especially if you don't like some of these actors, and one in particular, and the types of roles and humor that they have. Uh, but I had fun with it.
yeah, it is a Minecraft movie, and yeah, I this it had the option of being just awful. It could have been an awful movie, and yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, I know this is probably. I think at the beginning of the year, I was like, this is gonna do really well as a movie, even when people were like mocking the trailer and being like, oh, it's gonna be just plain awful. I was thinking it could be plain awful, but I was like, people are still going to probably go and see it. And it did do really, really well, and I can see why. I think yeah, it's still very memey, but it's a well enough put together movie, and it didn't ever like undermine my intelligence necessarily. It wasn't like, wow, this is really, really bad.
Oh
It
yeah,
never had anything like that. So,
yeah,
yeah,
I agree. And on to May. Did this have any surprises for you? It did not for me.
it did not for me either.
Ooh.
I think I have one last surprise here in June. Does
Uh,
he have any idea what it is? I think you did all your surprises, right?
I did all my surprises, I believe. I mean, we can throw in extra if we think of something like someone else is doing here, but I don't believe I have any surprises in this month.
Yeah, to me, How to Train Your Dragon was surprising. I didn't know what I would think about it, but heard people were at least seemed like mixed to positive. So I was like, you know what? I do really like the animated movie, and I have been leaning loving animated movies in the last year or two. So I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily need this, but from the trailers, I was like, some of these dragons look really really good, and maybe it'll be a really great visual kind of movie, kind of build the world in a different way than how it can be done animated wise. And I thought it did a great job at that. I was surprised that even though it is pretty close to the same exact story as the animated, I think it worked. It gives you a slightly different feel when you have actual actors playing the characters. Like you can feel some emotions that you just can't get necessarily all the time with animation. And you could just, I don't know. There's something about it that is sometimes just a little bit different when you can kind of see an actual person's face versus a face that's
Yeah.
animated.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can still get it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but um, just a little bit easier, I think, sometimes with a natural human face. And yeah, I think it did a really great job, and I like that it stuck to pretty much the same exact thing. I think if they're gonna make live action, it seems like that worked. Although Lilo and Stitch, which one we haven't seen, has done amazing.
Yeah.
So that I think is quite a bit different than the story. So maybe it just has to be the right movie. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
but I thought I was really surprised that
Hmm.
I actually liked it as much as I did because I was kind of thinking, yeah, who knows? I'll probably be like, I never watched this version again. I'll
Yeah.
just watch the animated if I ever watch it again. But I could see myself watching it again.
Nice. Nice. I might have to watch that one in addition to the animated. And then
Oh boy,
speaking of time loops, we're just going through one right
beep
here.
boop beep boop. Disappointments and wow, Pepper. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I was hoping you'd say it was surprising at how bad it was, but I think I had different expectations than you. It did look like it could be really dumb by the trailer. I will agree with that, but I just had this hope that it would be good, and that hope was not met. And oh boy, there were just a few things in it that I was just like, oh gosh, uh, Flight Risk could have been a lot better. I think it's just disappointing.
It could have been. It could have been for sure. Um, on to February. Do we have any disappointments in February? I do not. I do not have any disappointments.
I do not either.
Hmm? Doesn't mean they ain't bad. Uh,
That's true. Ooh, I
and
do have one in March here.
I have one in March as well.
I wonder if it's going to be the same.
I wonder. I mine. Does yours have a number in the title? Because that
Well,
came
you
in as
watched. I've got some here that you've never watched,
yep.
and you watched the other one and have already mentioned it. And I'm pretty sure you weren't disappointed by Novocaine. So that only leaves one option. And yes, we cross over with Mickey 17. It's disappointing
There's so
because
many good ideas in there, and they
yeah.
just tease a lot of them, and it's like, whoa, I didn't think we were going here, and then they just don't do anything with a lot of those, and they just it's like, what is the focus? It's mainly focused on something that is pretty generic and not that interesting, I think.
hmm I agree.
Great character though, the main character, Mickey.
Yeah. I somebody I like Robert Pattinson and Minecraft guy, Jason Momoa.
Well,
That I don't know. We got to get these guys in some more movies because they are great actors
a
and
buddy cop movie.
they're getting put in these movies that I'm like, I just want them to be in some really great movie. And granted, Minecraft did really well, so that's good. And I guess I don't know how well Mickey 17 did,
You need a career
but
change, Momoa. You're barely not breaking $1 billion anymore.
come on, Momoa. I am so upset. I am so upset that the Fast franchise isn't going back to.
Maybe
How
we'll
do people not? How do people not love that?
he's getting
How
a
do they not love
spin-off.
him as a character?
Getting a
That's
spin-off with The
great.
Rock. Spin-off with The Rock, I think, are the talks, but we
Yeah,
need a bigger
whatever.
sequel.
I don't want him spinning off of The Rock.
Yeah. The Rock's kind of going out now. He's going out. It's like not as exciting anymore. But yeah, if you want to hear it, comment if you want a Fast and Furious 10 sequels development rant, because we got it. But yeah, Mickey 17, disappointment. And
Oh.
then in
It
April,
doesn't end there. It does not end in March for me.
let's see. No, it does not end there for me either. I have one disappointment here. And I assume it's the same disappointment. And we do have a review of this film, so you can hear our issues with it. And that is Sinners. I'm like, it's the one kind of maybe action horror type movie that is getting all the praise, and it's the one that we aren't totally loving. I'm like, that just makes it even worse because everyone's like, oh, Oscar worthy. I'm like, just doesn't work for me. Um, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it sucks because this was on our anticipated list
Yeah,
of the year,
crossover.
and yeah, this got big enough where people like. I think when I went to it at first, like I don't think Michaela had any clue what it was, and then like after I went to it, she was. I'm guessing people online, the TikTokers these days, and whoever's were like talking about it. She's like, "Oh, what was that about, or what is it?" Because I think it did get big, which is good because it is
Yeah,
it's a fresh thing, but they could have just done so much more with it. It's kind of like Mickey 17 in that way, where it's just like, oh, it felt like it was right there, and they could have done some really cool things, and I just felt like they didn't. Other people feel differently though. A lot of people are really liking it, so maybe it's just us, but I feel like we felt this kind of similar
yeah,
things about what it was lacking, and it just I don't get I don't quite get how people are like, oh, this is great. It's definitely fresh. I think I
yeah,
would say it's fresh because
yeah,
it's a whole different feeling. But with those fresh ideas, I think they could have taken it to a
yeah,
really great level. This could have been a 9 or 10 for me, and instead they I don't know, it didn't take that and run. It just stopped.
yeah. I agree. I agree. But certainly the disappointment stops there. I have one disappointment here.
I am done with my disappointments.
I have one disappointment. Well, this is a movie that just shows up out of nowhere, gets a trailer, Fountain of Youth, and it's like, oh, coming out soon. This looks like a very safe, good time adventure film with Krasinski. I'm like, it can't go wrong. And oh boy, did it go wrong. I just felt it had a couple good things to start it off, but it just got really boring, really generic. And I was just like, I'm just not feeling it at all. Like there's movies that can be disappointing like Sinners, but you're still like invested in it throughout. But like this one just like almost totally lost me at one point. So that was a disappointment for not really being hyped that much, but
Yeah,
it should have been a safe pick.
I would agree. I would
And
agree.
you said you're out of disappointments. I am out of disappointments as well. So
It doesn't surprise me with that June.
yeah, look at that June K-pop baby. And then do we go negative? Do we stay with the negative and end positive, or do we go positive, back to positive, and then end on negative?
We're gonna go negative to positive.
Okay,
We're staying in the negatives.
so we go worst of the year, the worst movies of the year. And you said you don't have any crossover on your list, so since Flight Risk was a disappointment, am I right
I
in saying
actually,
that it is not your worst?
I actually, I might have actually messed up. I disappointment. We will get to my other disappointment. I noticed after I started talking about it, but at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll just do the flipperoo once we get to worst. And this is actually worst. I'll go. We're gonna get to it very shortly. Which one's the disappointment? But yeah, flight risk is actually worst for me. It's even
Okay.
worse than just disappointing. It is disappointing and worst.
Oh man.
We will say.
Oh man, he got it on both lists. How dare he?
I had to do it. No, it's I didn't. I didn't like it at all. Well, there was Topher was probably the best part about the whole thing. Outside, if that did not have him in it, it would have really been bad. It's not the levels of some of these other. There's a couple other ones that this is the top. This is kind of the top, towards the top of worst,
Okay.
as in good,
Yeah,
good of the worst.
okay. Y'all need a pilot. My gosh. And then
And
Feb.
speaking, we'll go back into my disappointment. Can you guess which one it is?
Oh yeah. Disappointment. I don't think you were kind
Actually,
of
might be
excited
tough.
about the monkey. You were excited about the violence of the monkey, I think.
I was excited about that, and we will get back to that. But first, we're going to go to Captain America Brave New
Oh,
World. I was a bit disappointed by this. I, I don't know. I didn't have as high of expectations as you, having it in your top 10 most anticipated films. I know you love Captain America, Pepper. I know you do. But I don't know. I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just hoping that maybe we could get back on track, do something really nice, but it was just kind of boring. And some
yeah.
of the things, it's just like, do we really need to focus on this? I don't know. It just feels like it's something we already did in the horrible TV show of
Oh, God.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. It just felt like we were kind of going back to some of those things, which I didn't like the first time. Why would I like it the second time? Thought we could maybe be past that, but there were some good moments still. It wasn't totally worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I will disagree with you. It was totally the worst. So you're done with your disappointments. We're on to the worst. And I have Captain America Brave New World in the worst films of the year. I still would probably give it a 7, actually. It's just like how Cap maybe a 6.
Really, a seven?
I don't know.
Not even a five?
You gave it a lot higher than I did when we reviewed this. But yeah, this was in my anticipated films because I was like, it's got everything going against it. It might just surprise us and be decent. I've rewatched it since it was on Disney Plus, and I'm like, it has more good than I maybe initially gave it credit for. But it's still like as a Captain America film, especially, I think that
That's true.
I feel a little better in saying that it is one of the worst of the year. If you're saying just going into this like not as diehard of a fan, knowing what's going on behind the scenes, you're like, oh, another Captain America film, those are bangers. And you go see this, and it just feels like such a not even like a B team, like maybe almost even a C team level of a movie, and I just got issues with it, but there's still some good stuff in there.
That's fair.
And
It's
it's
not
not
great.
surprising, like a disappointment. Like it's not like, oh, this really should have been good. It shouldn't have been good, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That is fair. But we're gonna go to the monkey now in worst movies of the year. Yeah, there was some violence, which was maybe the only redeeming factor about it with some of those scenes, if you can call that redeeming. But we have a movie that might make my best that also does the violence, death kind of things. We
Okay.
will get to that eventually, so I think that actually paints this as even worse because
Mhm.
of how good I like that one. Um, yeah, it's by the end of this, it just gets really strange and weird, and I just did not like it at all. I didn't like the ending. It didn't make any sense. There were times where I was like, still like, okay, this isn't the best plot necessarily, but we're getting there. And then, yeah, by the end, there are just things, and I'm just like, ugh,
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this one again. So
I gotta try this one out. I gotta watch this and see what I think.
we'll see what you think. But don't you leave February yet, because we got a bad February, obviously, because we're going right into Love Hurts, which may be my worst movie so far this year. This was, I think I did have a little bit of expectations of this one because I was like, oh, this could be kind of a cool. I don't know why in my head I was thinking Jackie Chan style. I just like to think of the olden days of the Shanghai Noon, Shanghai, whatever, Rush Hour movies. And I was like, obviously wouldn't be quite the same because he doesn't have a buddy in here necessarily, which it probably what actually makes those movies. But I was just
You
hopeful
know
that
this is not Jackie Chan,
I
right?
know it's not Jackie Chan. I know it's Short Round, but
Mm.
I I was just hopeful that it could be good. And as it was going on, I'm just like, oh god, this is so bad. This is just so bad. This It's so disappointing how bad it was. I was just like,
He
because
just won an Oscar.
he did have some he did some of the times he was looking like some Jackie Chan. He did a lot of good action stuff, but the whole story was just awful. It was really bad. I don't see any. I don't think you'd ever watch this one, Pepper,
No.
and I would not recommend it. It is one of my
I was
least
thinking
favorite.
about seeing it in theaters, then I heard
Yes,
a lot of
that's where I
negativity.
was. I was going to, and then it was like, and
Maybe.
then it was on streaming. I was just like, okay, I guess we'll check it out. Maybe it'll be better, but oh boy,
Can't believe it. I can't
oh
believe it.
boy.
Don't tell me
And
there's
one
another one.
more thing. No, no,
Okay.
no more in February for
Okay.
worse.
Thank goodness.
Considering I've already gone through three of five that I have.
And then we go into March for the worst films of the year. I do not have any in here.
Nope, I would agree.
Okay, good, good. Do you have any in April? I do not. I do not.
I do not either.
Well, good, good couple months here. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Oh no.
May.
It could only last so long, couldn't it? It could only last so long. And this one kind of agrees with you a little bit, Pepper, in your disappointment. But I'm saying this is a worst. It did show a little promise at the beginning, like you said. There's a little bit, and I'm like, okay, okay, we might have ourselves a pretty decent one. If not, if it takes it to the next level, it could be great potentially. But it did not do that. It just stopped after he rode that motorcycle moped thing for the first bit of the movie. You just turn it off after he's done riding and you will be happy.
I know. I was like, oh, this is cool. I have that song in my playlist. I'm like, that's a cool song. And by God, did it go downhill so far downhill that I put it on my worst movies as well as my disappointments because it bugged me that much. So you're double agreeing with me.
Yeah, this one, it's. There were some things that I'm like, oh, you could change some things and it could be really good. I don't know what they. I don't know why. I don't know what, but just blah.
Of
There's
course.
more blah than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
For
the story itself, there's a few things like, okay, well, we're stretching kind of thought here a little bit, but more than anything, it's just like, wow, this is boring.
Yeah, 100% agree. And you are totally done with your worst movies of May.
Don't you leave me yet, because I am done. I think we're finished with this friendship. Because oh boy. It's between this and Love Hurts for me on worst movie so far in this half of the year. Oh man, we have a review going out on this one if it's not already out, and yeah, kind of in that one, you did tell me you're like, well, if you had paid any attention to the trailer, you'd understand that that's exactly what it was offering, and that is exactly right. It was depressing as hell. It was a horribly depressing, non-humorous movie. There were very few bits of humor in this thing. It was just depressing. That's all I gotta say.
Can't disagree too much actually, but it ain't disappointing, ain't worst for me. So,
No, it's gonna be in your best. I already know, Pepper.
and the worst month of them all, I got six worst in this one. I actually have zero,
Oh wow,
zero worst in this, and I assume you do as well.
that is true.
Nice, nice. So we go back once more, one final time to go through the positives, the best of the year. But yeah, check out the end of the year when we do our actual top 10 movies of the year, when we have the whole back half of movies to go through and see how many of these end up actually making it. January, I think we've spoken for all of, well, no one's spoken for Companion in any way. It is not in my best.
It is where it is,
It
right in
is
the
where
middle.
it is.
But yeah, like I said, Dogman could have been best for me.
Could have been. Okay. And in February, I have one best.
It is crazy, Pepper. You won't believe it.
Don't say it.
Considering I have three bad,
Yeah.
disappointing to worse movies, I have two bests in February. This is just a bipolar month. I don't know what's going on here. I'm guessing one of our best is the same.
Yeah.
Considering you have not seen Heart Eyes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I think one of ours is definitely the same, and that is The Gorge. This is just a really cool concept for a movie, and I think the characters and their relationship is fantastic. It kind of goes a little off the rails when it goes into just full out action. And I'm like, you lose some of the integrity, the actual maybe quality of the movie and the writing at that point. But it's still really fun. It replaces it with a lot of fun stuff. So it's like, okay, maybe I can't just objectively say this is great from start to finish, but I enjoyed it from start to finish.
I 100% agree with everything you said, and I went into it thinking kind of similar to Friendship, where it's like, yeah, this could be really great, or it could be really bad, depending on what is revealed throughout the movie. And I thought all the reveals were pretty solid.
Yes.
A little crazy, but solid for me. But then my other best is Last Breath. I really liked this movie. It's just about kind of going down and saving this person that has been left behind accidentally underwater. And he's only got so many, what is it? How many minutes? It's been
It's like
months since I've watched this. You've
uh,
watched it more recently.
15 minutes or something.
Yeah, they got to get back to him in 15 minutes before he runs out of air. And yeah, I think it's a really thrilling movie. I really liked it a lot. I
Yeah.
felt like I could, feel the emotion. I could feel like I feel like when I was in the theaters, I don't know why, but like, so there's a ship obviously, and the wave crashing and stuff. I don't know what was wrong with the sound stuff, but it was insanely loud. I was just like, what is going on here? But yeah, I really like this movie a lot.
It was a solid one. It was a solid one for sure, but it did not quite make my list. But it's really cool and based on a true story too. So then you look at that and you're like, wow, that's crazy that a lot of this stuff actually happens.
Yes.
And then we are on to March, and I will say I have a greatness in March.
Ooh.
The best of the year. Do you?
I do not. So I have a couple less than you have marked for best of the year
Yeah.
so far. But there are a couple here in March that I did enjoy quite a bit. They did not make my best.
Yeah.
We'll see by the end of the year. Maybe I will have a chance to rewatch some of these on streaming and see if my thoughts change, if they go up or down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that'd be like Novocaine and Death of a Unicorn for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I still have to see Death of a Unicorn. Waiting for that done streaming. We'll probably watch Working Man and Black Bag as well. So we'll see end of the year if some of those sneak up in here. But I've talked about Locked, I've talked about Mickey, but I've not talked about Novocaine because that is one of my best of the year so far. I kind of went into it. I'm like, both of them are Jack Quaid. You got Companion, you got Novocaine. And it's like I feel like there could be something special here, and I like Companion, but I loved Novocaine. I think that it delivered everything I wanted with the premise of the kind of a guy who can't feel pain, and he's not skilled, but he has to go on this mission to take down a gang of bad guys and rescue the love of his life. And the way he fights is pretty hilarious, and I think it's got a good set of characters. It nails the humor and the action and the romance. I think perfectly. So this one hit all the marks I was looking for. Best of the year.
Yeah. I'll have to see how I feel on rewatch because I went with Michaela. I convinced her that it would not be very gory and stuff, and I don't think she will ever trust me again. Because there were a few things in this one that, if you don't like anything like that, or
Yeah,
like kind of the weird, like, what would you call it? Like,
it's like I don't know what it is. It's everyday things that you're just like, ooh, like you can
yeah,
imagine it happening.
something that makes you like queasy kind of
Yeah. It's not
things
like,
potentially.
oh, gore, like crush the head and brains everywhere. It's not like that. It's more like hot things touching them with your skin and different things like that.
Breaking bones and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So it definitely has that in there, and I can see why Mac was not a fan. And then we move on to April. Do we have any favorites in here? I think this is a really solid month, but I actually do not have any favorites in here.
Yeah, I think of the ones I saw, I thought it was pretty solid, but yeah, I do not have any favorites here either.
Okay. And then we move on to
My gosh, the account 2 was that long ago already?
yeah.
Maybe I saw it later. I might have saw it at the later end.
Yeah, I saw it on Prime on Amazon once it was
Hmm.
released on there, so it's been a while. Then we move on to May, and my goodness. My goodness. For me, what a triple threat at the top of this screen. This is one of the bangeriest months that I've seen in a
That
while.
you may have ever seen.
May have ever seen. I'm looking at this and it makes me think I'm flashing back to WrestleMania Night One main event, triple threat, one of the best matches I've ever seen, with three of the best to ever do it. And I'm seeing it, three of the best movies of the year: Thunderbolts, Final Destination, Mission Impossible. I think they deliver in their franchises, great franchises, and I think they all deliver.
Yeah, Thunderbolts is on my short list of best. I guess I didn't have Mission Impossible down here, but it was a solid film. Yeah,
Only
probably
what
won't
you
make
got
it. It
on
probably
here?
won't make it. But Final Destination Bloodlines is in one of my best of the year. Yeah, this is everything the monkey wishes it was. It's a great premise. It's a great way to go back to this series that's been going on for a couple decades now. They found a brand new way to explore it. I don't know if you're going to want to use it again that way, but it made for a very interesting concept in comparison to maybe some of the other ones. So I really love this one. I think it's if you like the Final Destination movies, I would think you should like this one.
Yeah,
But
I think it's
maybe not. I don't know.
I
I'd
think
be surprised.
it's up
I think
there.
you're lying to yourself if you say you don't like it.
Yeah, you are.
If
You
if
are.
you liked the other ones, that is.
I think it could. It's probably my favorite, tied right up there with five for best of the franchise. And while I say Mission Impossible, it's maybe not the best of the franchise. It's my favorite franchise of all time. Even the worst one, I give a seven, possibly 8 out of 10. So even if this is somewhere in the middle there, it still delivers everything I want when I go watch a movie. And Thunderbolts was a big like, come on, this really needs to hit because this should really work. A different phase of the MCU, it's like this is a guaranteed hit, but now it's like, are they going to be able to pull off this ragtag group like a Guardians, like a Suicide Squad? And I really thought they did, and I thought they had a lot of heart in there as well. So
I don't know if it quite reached those levels for me, and I think that's why it stayed out of my actual like official top five.
yeah,
But it's close. It's getting there.
yeah. Stay tuned for once. Probably after Fantastic Four, we might do some sort of Marvel ranking or tier list or something like that. Because we know that that is a big franchise and one that we probably have to get our thoughts out there, what we like and
Oh
don't.
boy, I'm gonna have to do a lot of rewatching.
It's only 45 films and 23 television series. Not much. And then we move on to June. And now we're looking at night two of WrestleMania with another triple threat for the women's championship this time. I've got three. I've got three great in this one. I know
Hmm.
I'm thinking you probably don't know exactly what those three are. I guess you lead us off here. You go with your.
You assume I have some left over?
You have some here.
I've got two left over here, but I have another two on my short list, and then the other one I have not seen, and the other one I have mentioned. So the ones on my short list are John Wick Ballerina, which is still very solid. I maybe if I rewatched it, that one could end up sneaking into end of year list maybe. Along with 28 Years Later, I think that one could also fall in that similar boat. I I know some people have been a little more mixed on 28 years later. I thought it did a pretty good job at exploring some new things in a zombie movie all these years later. In 2020, in the year of 2025, I think it does a pretty solid job. I can see why some people might not love things that happen in it. But otherwise, F1, the movie, solid movie. We got a review on that one. You can go check that out. I think that's going to be one of the blockbuster hits of the year. At least I'm hoping. It seems like that's where it's trending. Uh, and then another one that's on stream or went straight to streaming, I believe,
Yeah.
and that is Predator: Killer of Killers, which is animated version of the Predator. The first of two Predator type things coming out this year, so we will see in the later half of the year where our other Predators lead us if we have a full great year of Predators or just one half of the Predator shield like it shows there. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fantastic movie. It's definitely worth watching if you have a chance to.
Yeah.
If you like the idea of Predators and you're not against animation showing them. If you don't like animated movies, you might not like it as much then, but if you don't mind that look,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
So yeah, so yours are F1 and Predator
Mhm.
for your two picks with 28 and Ballerina right in there as well. I will say, what do you think my three are?
I think they're in the I think they make a corner.
You think they make
I
a
think they make
corner.
a corner.
You think they make a corner. So I'm assuming you think it's Ballerina, F1, and Predator.
Yep.
It is not that. I do not have Ballerina in my top of here. I don't know. I just need John Wick 4. Nothing's ever gonna top that for me, and I just feel like that maybe hurts the other ones a little bit just because I love that one so much. But like you said, it is solid. But my three are F1 and Predator Killer of Killers crossing with you there. And then 28 years later, I have a lot of the best. I think I have like eight total mentions. I just think it's been a really fantastic year, and I'm like, I could see all of these films. Like these are all they could be like nines out of tens. They could be top 10 of the year at the end of the year. And I'm like, if I'm thinking of them in that way, I gotta call them best of the year. I think you nailed it right on the head. The 28 years later, it's just such a unique exploration of that world that far into the future. A lot of good heart in there as well, not just scares. They got some good emotion there. F1 is just a solid blockbuster. And Killer of Killers, I think it's probably the most surprising here. It's just I didn't know if this would work as a movie. I'm like, are they just sloughing it onto the streaming just as some content? But it really did work. And I mean, if we do a ranking of the Predator franchise at the end of the year when the next one comes out, this might actually be number one. It might actually top some of those older ones, even the original possibly, because the concept is just so cool what they're doing here. And for people who don't like animated, my mom was very disappointed that this was animated, and she didn't want to watch it initially. But I started it because I'm like, I'd already seen it. I'm like, well, let's just put it on, hook her in there. And she did eventually. She watched the whole movie and said, okay, maybe not all animated films are stupid and for children. She wasn't, she's like, I wish they made it live action, but she enjoyed it. So I'm like, even if you don't like animated, you might still like this. So
Okay.
yeah, great month. I think just two fantastic months in a row, which is what summer's
Well,
all about.
one good month and a half month,
Wow.
maybe.
That's true. That's true. That is another bipolar month for you.
That's true. But yeah, I think so far it's probably been more of a positive year than negative.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts have been on movies. If there's any here that we have missed that we don't even
Yeah.
mention in the
Those
ones we've missed,
ones.
yeah, there's something, based on what we've said we like, you're like, oh, I liked those ones too. And I've actually watched, some other movie that they didn't mention.
Yeah.
Let us know about those ones because, yeah, we'd love to learn about great movies that people are liking so far. And especially if they're on some sort of streaming service so we can
Yes.
easily watch them and we don't have to be like, oh, now we got to wait for this movie that this person mentioned because it
Yeah.
sounds like it could be great.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of waiting for movies, what movies are coming out in the second half of this year? Can it top the pretty strong first half? We might have to look forward. So be on the lookout. We might post a video looking at the upcoming movies in the back half of the year.
Yes, but otherwise, if you made it this far, we appreciate it. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on that movie theater popcorn.